using fresh produce out of your garden to incorporate it into a whole meal can be a really nice thing to do. It makes you feel really rewarded for having done the growing. Today I'm making something called Picadillo, which is a hamburger mix. You could use other kinds of ground meat as well. You could even use chopped meat to make this. It is a Spanish, Mexican type of thing, but it's a little bit different because some of the seasonings that we're going to use actually make this seem kind of sweet. So we're going to brown, so 1 pound of ground beef. You could use ground turkey if you chose to. I like to use one that's really lean so that I don't have to do much draining later on, but you could add that step in and drain it well too. To this, as it browns, I've got 1 medium onion that I've chopped up, and I'm also going to add 1 clove of garlic that's been chopped up fairly well. I'm going to have to get a smaller utensil to get that out. We're just going to let this cook until the meat is no longer pink, and at that point, if you needed to drain it, that's when you would do so. Okay, we've got all the meat browned. You just want to cook this until it's no longer pink. And now we're going to start adding the rest of the vegetables. I've got 2 tomatoes that have been chopped up. And don't worry about seeding them. The seeds add a lot of nutrition as well as the flavor that comes with them. I've got a medium green pepper that we're adding in here with this. And then I've modified the original recipe. I've added a cup of carrots that I've chopped up. And you can cut these according to how you like them, but we want them to be able to cook, and this is going to cook for about 10 to 15 minutes, so they shall have plenty of time. And then medium zucchini is going in here. And now some of the little bit different ingredients. I'm going to add 1/2 cup of raisins, and this is going to add a lot of sweetness to the dish. I've got a teaspoon of salt, excuse me, and then 1/4 of a teaspoon, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cloves, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of either cayenne or black pepper. We're just going to stir those together, and we're going to have a lot of liquid come out of these vegetables, so there'll be plenty of liquid there. And we'll go ahead and reduce the heat and let it simmer until it's thickened up. We want the flavors to blend because we have all these great flavors in here, but we also want the juices to be rendered from the vegetables and a lot of those to evaporate out. So don't cover it, just let it go ahead and come to a simmer and maybe stir it from time to time, but let this cook down for about 10 to 15 minutes until it gets as thick as you'd like it. You can see that this has not got a lot of liquid left on it. Having a little bit of liquid is fine, however. We're going to serve it over rice, brown rice, and so if you have a little bit of liquid, any liquid left is going to be absorbed there. I have taken a 1/2 cup of slivered almonds and toasted them in a small saucepan just over this in a skillet on the range for just a few minutes. And we're going to put those in. This is going to be a great texture contrast, particularly with the raisins that are nice and soft and sweet. And then the second contrast we have here is 1/4 of a cup of green olives, pimento stuffed olives, that again have that different kind of taste. It's salty and bitter, and it really makes this dish have a lot of depth to it. And we're just stir those together. Once you stir those in, you pretty much are going to need to be ready to serve because the almonds will get a little bit softer as you go. And while you can buy the olives already sliced, I'd recommend that you go ahead and buy full olives and slice them yourself because the ones that you buy already sliced tend to have the pimentos all falling out. So we're going to serve that over rice. This actually makes 6 servings, so you can be fairly generous with it. And it is a wonderful dinner, and it gets even better the second day. So if you don't use it all on day 1, by all means, go ahead and make the full recipe. This is called Picadillo for Oklahoma Gardening. This is Barbara Brown.